Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into what is literally one of the absolute greatest medical discoveries in human history: vaccines. Seriously, these tools have completely transformed our world. They've taken diseases that used to cause millions of deaths and turned them into things we can often stop before they even start. But, here's the thing. They don't all work the exact same way. So we're going to explore the really brilliant, constantly evolving architecture of our immunity.
It brings up a really great question. How do vaccines actually train your body? Think of your immune system like this elite natural defense force, right? But even the best defense force needs proper training to fight off different types of invasions. Some vaccines train this system using weakened viruses. Some use harmless little pieces of germs. And the absolute newest technologies literally teach your body how to recognize threats using genetic instructions. So today, we're going to look at the exact training regimens medicine has developed to protect us.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, the immune system toolkit. 2, using the whole germ. 3, targeting pathogen pieces. 4, delivering genetic instructions. And finally, combining protective forces.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, the immune system toolkit, preparing our natural defenses. I absolutely love this quote from our source material. Behind every vaccine is a different scientific approach designed to prepare our natural defenses. See, vaccines aren't just one single type of medicine. They're these evolving, incredibly smart strategies designed to stop dangerous infections. Let's see exactly how they pull that off.
Section 2, using the whole germ, sparring with the enemy.
Okay, let's dive into this comparison. This oldest approach in our toolkit is kind of like sparring with a defeated enemy. On one side, we've got live attenuated vaccines. These actually use a weakened, living virus. And because they mimic a real infection, they trigger this massive, strong, long-lasting response, often with just a few doses. The catch? They really aren't recommended for people with severely weakened immune systems. Now, on the flip side, we have inactivated vaccines. Here, the pathogens are killed or chemically modified. They literally cannot multiply, which makes them a whole lot safer. Your immune system still spots the dead pathogen, but since the response is a bit weaker, you're usually going to need multiple doses or boosters over time to keep that protection going.
Moving on to part 3, targeting pathogen pieces, studying the enemy's mugshot.
So that brings us to subunit vaccines. Instead of sparring with the whole enemy, this is basically like showing our defense force a mugshot of the pathogen's most recognizable features. By using only very specific pieces, usually proteins or molecules the immune system easily spots, we totally avoid all those unnecessary components. When your immune system sees these selected pieces, it still pumps out those vital antibodies and memory responses. And because there's no complete live organism involved at all, the safety profile is just fantastic. We actually use this targeted approach right now to prevent serious stuff like HPV and hepatitis B. And hey, fun fact here, since hepatitis B can actually lead to liver cancer, that vaccine is widely considered the first anti-cancer vaccine ever made. How cool is that?
Now, let's just pause for a second to look at this definition: an adjuvant. Because subunit vaccines only use a tiny little piece of the germ. They're incredibly safe, sure, but they sometimes lack that big, loud alarm bell of a whole germ. So they might actually need this extra ingredient, an adjuvant, to really wake up the immune system, strengthen that response, and just make the whole vaccine much more effective.
Building on that whole idea of targeting specific threats, we've got toxoid vaccines. Honestly, this is such a clever approach. See, some bacteria make us sick not just by hanging around, but by actively releasing powerful, damaging toxins into our body. For things like tetanus and diphtheria, the true threat is actually the toxin. So a toxoid vaccine contains a weakened or inactive form of that specific toxin. Your immune system learns to recognize it and produce protective antibodies. If you get exposed later on, your body actually neutralizes that harmful substance before it can cause severe damage or neurological complications. You're literally neutralizing the enemy's weapon rather than just the soldier.
So the crucial point here is that it all boils down to precision. Protein-based vaccines use purified proteins to trigger a response. No whole organisms, just highly specific, safe targets. It combines incredible safety with really precise immune training. We've been using it for years, and it's still a massive area of ongoing research.
Next up, Section 4, delivering genetic instructions, secure building instructions.
Now, what's really fascinating about this slide is the timeline. Messenger RNA, or mRNA vaccines, obviously became globally famous during the COVID-19 pandemic. But look at the very beginning of this timeline. Researchers have actually been studying this tech for decades. It didn't just appear out of nowhere overnight. Because scientists already understood the underlying genetic info, they were able to design and roll out these vaccines incredibly fast when the pandemic hit.
And as you can see looking toward the future, this tech has opened up massive new possibilities for tackling other infectious diseases.
All right, here's exactly how it builds a protective response, step by step. Instead of introducing a weakened germ, mRNA vaccines provide temporary genetic instructions. Step 1, these instructions enter your cells. Step 2, they teach your cells how to produce a completely harmless piece of a pathogen. Your immune system spots this harmless piece, learns how to react, and readies its defenses. And step 3, and this is absolutely vital to understand, the mRNA is naturally broken down by the body right after it delivers its message. No, it does not change a person's DNA. It's really just a secure, temporary, self-destructing instruction manual.
Alongside mRNA, we have viral vector vaccines. This tech essentially acts as a bridge between traditional vaccines and these newer genetic approaches. It actually uses nature's very own delivery system, a totally harmless virus, to drop off crucial training instructions to our cells. This carrier virus is heavily modified, so it literally cannot cause the targeted disease, but it's super good at sneaking inside cells to deliver that genetic material. Once it's in, your cells produce a specific antigen, and your immune system mounts a really strong defense, bringing out both antibodies and specialized immune cells. This incredible tech was a huge player during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's also been developed to fight Ebola.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, Combining Protective Forces, Streamlining the Defenses.
So, you might be wondering, how do we manage all these different tools effectively out there in the real world? Well, through combination vaccines, and this brilliantly illustrates how it works. Through intense, careful scientific testing, researchers figure out how to put multiple vaccine components into a single formulation without them interfering with each other. The classic example, the MMR vaccine. One single injection trains the body against 3 totally separate threats: measles, mumps, and rubella.
Think about what this actually means for our daily lives, especially when we're talking about childhood vaccination programs. Kids can get protection against several diseases with way fewer injections, which means they don't have to feel like human pincushions, right? It totally simplifies vaccination schedules. It makes preventive healthcare incredibly convenient for us. And from a big picture public health perspective, making it easier for people to get their immunizations actively boosts overall vaccination coverage. It just goes to show that vaccine science isn't just about inventing wild new tech, it's also about figuring out how to deliver existing protections better.
From those early discoveries where we literally sparred with weakened germs, all the way to advanced genetic platforms delivering secure, self-destructing instructions, every single vaccine type we've explored today is just a brilliant strategy for teaching the human immune system. Working together, these tools have completely rewritten the rules of human survival. And as this tech continues to evolve at just a blistering pace, it leaves us with one incredibly exciting question to ponder. What disease will human ingenuity teach our immune system to conquer next? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep learning.